Welcome. Welcome to today's class. In today's class, you'll be introduced to using table. Tables are a powerful feature in Excel and Google spreadsheet that help organize, manage, and analyze data more effectively. When we turn a range of data into a table, we gain built-in functionalities such as automatic filtering, sorting, formatting, and the ability to easily reference data using structured formula. Why should we use table? One of the benefits of using table is the ability to improve data organization and readability. It also enables efficient sorting and filtering. Importantly, it provides dynamic range references for formula, which enables calculation to be done in a particular formula and feed automatically to the rest of the table. Also, it enhances data visualization with built-in styles. One of the real world examples of using table is in financial reporting. Take for example a marketer trying to collect data and bring out informed decision based on the data and presenting it to a large audience. The use of table makes this very easy to get done. Inventory tracking. This also enables those that are into this particular real world example to get this done, while also the data entry manager can use table to easily and efficiently get data from user and make it in such a way that it will be useful for data analysis. First, how can we convert data that we've been using so far into a table format? To convert a data to a table, navigate to insert ribbon and click on table, or click Ctrl T on your keyboard to easily capture the entire data set and convert it to a table. So you should use this when your table has an header. Take for example, your table has the attribute that it's working on. Immediately you do this, it will capture it to be part of your table. And if your table does not have header, you don't need to check this. You can just uncheck it and click on OK on your keyboard. Now, let's see this in action. Welcome to this practical lab. In this lab, we will convert this range of data that we have here into a table. And as mentioned earlier in our presentation, we will be converting this into a table using two methods. First is by navigating to the insert ribbon and clicking on this table. If you click on this, as long as you are within the data set and you click on this table, it will capture the entire data set and show you where is the data for your table, and it has already been captured. And as mentioned earlier, my table as an header should be clicked. As you can see, our table as an header, we have group, matric number, gender, exam score, and the meet requirement attribute. Now we click on OK. Immediately we click on OK, the format gets automatically added to our table. As you can see, the filter icon also gets appeared. Immediately we click on OK. The second method of converting a data set into a table is by using Ctrl T on our keyboard. The moment you click on Ctrl T, it will capture it as if you go to this insert ribbon and then clicking on this table. So immediately we click on Ctrl T, it will capture the entire data set. Then our table still has an header. We click on OK. And as you can see, immediately we click that, our data set will be converted into a table. Then we have a formatted, well-structured table. As you can see, there are some formatting in between our text. If I don't want the formatting to appear, immediately I convert my data set into a table. I have this particular ribbon called table design. With this table design, I can navigate to where the table style option group is and then uncheck this band rows. Immediately I uncheck this band rows, you see what happened. As you can see, the formatting in between our table has now been removed, which is making our table to look smart. Also, this table style option group enables you to also uncheck the filter if you like. If you want to uncheck the filter, you can just uncheck this here and you will see that the filter will be removed from the table, making it look as if it is a data range. But I would like to have the filter icon there. And also, if you want to have the total row line in your table, you can check this as well. You see that the total row line will be added to your table. If I don't want it to be there, then I will uncheck it, then my table will revert back to its previous version. Also, Excel enables us to name a table. We can name our table with whatever name we like by navigating to this table design and then clicking on this table names property. As you can see, the name given initially was table 5. If I want to change it from this default value and then change it to, let's say, sales data set, and I press enter on my keyboard, this name will be given to my data set and I can start analyzing the data set by referencing the data set wherever needed using the sales data set. As we are still on this table design, you will notice this particular table style. Why should we use the table styles? It enhances data visualization, it differentiates headers and rows apart from each other, and it also ensures consistency in large data sets. How can we apply the table style? Just navigate to the table and click on the styles of your preference. Now let's get that done. So take for example, we don't like the formatting that we have here. We would like to change it to some other format. You can just navigate to this table style and expand this. You will see different styles there that you can choose from. So let me just click on this. Let me use this particular format. Immediately I click on this format, you see what happened. You see that we have the formatting well structured and concise. Everything is perfect fit for the theme that we are using for this workbook. And be informed, you will notice that we have three particular parts in this table style. You see that we have the light part and also the medium, while the last one is the dark part. You see the way it is. As I'm hovering over it, you see what is happening. All the styles that we have here, they are very dark, while the medium is in the medium level of color intensity, and the light is very light to use, which is what I chose. Now, how can we create a new column into a table? Just click on the last column of your table and start typing. That's all you need. You want to start typing here and you press enter on your keyboard, the table will automatically expand to capture that particular column. Take for example, in this data set, I would like to know whether the particular student I'm treating is a male. I can just start typing here at the header level by typing is male. Immediately I press enter, you see the table is smart enough to extend to capture this particular column is male. Now I can determine whether the student is male or not by just using my conditional statement and say the value, if the condition is true, else we have false. The moment I click on enter, I have the entire value given to me. So I don't need to be feeling down because a table is smart enough to extend its capacity to the rest of the data set. As you can see, it was automatically filled, and you will notice that the formula for the entire table is the same thing. You see, because this was shown here to be gender, and this time around we are not referring to the cell, we are referring to the column of that particular table. Right, this particular @ sign is referring to each column of this particular gender. Then that's the reason why it was able to extend its result across the entire table. As you can see, how can we remove a column from a table? We can remove the column from a table by deleting the column, and this will get removed for us automatically from the table. Now let's see the practical of it in our table. Take for example, I would like to remove this particular column from my table. So the moment I hover over the top header here, you will see this particular arrow pointing down. The moment I click on it, I can right click on it and then click on delete. If I click this delete column, the column will be removed for me. As you can see, the column has been removed. Now that's the easiest way of removing a column from a table. Or take for example, if you would like to remove this particular column from the table, you can still use this particular shortcut by click on Ctrl dash on your keyboard. This column will be removed for you. Let's discuss the benefit of using dynamic table. As I have already shown you in the practical lab, that table automatically expands when new data is entered into it. It also ensures that formula adjusts automatically while analyzing data. Take for example, while we use the if conditional statement the other time, the table automatically fill down for us without we typing it into individual cell manually or clicking on the jar icon to fill down. The formula was automatically filled because table has a capacity of filling down. And also take for example, we would like to add another cell here. Let's say this time around we would like to add go B dash. As you can see, it automatically fill for us. Even the formula too get filled down automatically. Sorting data in a table. We can either sort data alphabetically from A to Z or Z to A using the sort function that Excel and Google Spreadsheet provides. While we can also sort numerically from smallest to the largest or vice versa in a table. Table enables us to also update our date by sorting them from oldest to the newest or from the newest to the oldest. Now let's see how we can sort a data set in Excel. I can decide to sort this group, matric number, gender, and even the score ascendingly. Take for example, I want to sort this score ascendingly. I can just click on this filter icon. The moment I click on this filter icon, you will see this particular sort smallest to largest, largest to smallest. So I would like to sort it largest to smallest to see the highest value first and then the lower after. As you can see, you see the icon showing that this particular table is now being sorted in descending order, as you can see. Now, if possible, I can sort this group as well in alphabetical order. So you can sort it by also navigating to this icon. You will see that this time around, we no longer have that numerical of a thing. Now we have sort from A to Z and from Z to A. So I can sort it alphabetically by just clicking on this. Is that the moment I click on this group, you see that we now have A first before we see B, and so on and so forth. And you will see that immediately I sort this particular group, the sort on this exam score has now been removed. Now let's see how we can sort date. I have a data set here which has a date of employment. So we would like to see the date of employment being sorted. Be informed, this particular data has been converted to a table. You see, the moment you see this table design in any data set, that is telling you that that particular data is in tabular format in Excel. So the same procedure we followed the last time while we are trying to sort a text and also a number. That same way is what we are going to follow to sort the date of employment. So let's click on this filter icon, and now you will see that we have from oldest to newest and from newest to oldest. So we like to see the oldest to newest. So we click on this, and you see we see the people that have spent almost 35 years in service. We see them first before we see those that came recently. You see from 2019 to now, which is 6 years. I believe that by now you should be able to filter a table because you have been introduced to how to filter in our previous classes. It's as simple as you clicking on this icon. Take for example, we like to filter for only the apparel and accessories product category. It's as simple as you clicking on this filter icon and then on selecting the rest while selecting the only one of interest. Then we click OK, and you see that we have the filtered table to be showing only the apparel and accessories. Also, I believe you also know how to clear filter from a table. So let's quickly see that. To clear this particular filter from this table, the moment I click on this header and I click on this, you should be able to see this clear filter from product category. The moment you click on this, the filter will be cleared and you have your table back to a default. Welcome to conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is a feature that allows us to automatically change the appearance of cells, such as their color, font, or borders based on values they contain. This makes it easier to spot trend, pattern, or issues in your data at a glance. Where to find conditional formatting in Excel? Let me quickly show you that. Take for example, we would like to highlight all the cells that does not meet the requirement that we set here. Take for example, those that we have to be no in this particular case. So we can achieve that through the use of conditional formatting, which is very visible under the star group. conditional formatting. As you can see, the moment you over it, you see what it does. You see that it easily spot trend and pattern in your data using bars, colors, and icons to visually highlight important values. So let me expand that. Now, what we want to achieve in our own case here is to highlight all the cells that are showing no in our own case here. So let me quickly highlight the entire table. So I will use Ctrl Shift down arrow on my keyboard. Now I go to highlight cell rows. That is what I'm trying to achieve. I want to highlight all cells that is equals to no. So immediately I type no, you see that immediately the condition is now reflecting here. I now have red text here. You see this red text that is showing you what we can get done using the conditional formatting. Or take for example, I would like to have it highlight the mate as well. As you can see, the mate is also highlighted, but what I want to get done is the no. So I click on OK. Also, through the use of conditional formatting, we can highlight the best performing student here. Take for example, we want to determine the top 10 students that has the highest score in our data set. We can easily get that done by using conditional formatting. So I will highlight the entire column and then navigate to conditional formatting. You see this top or bottom rows. With that, I can select the top 10 items. As you can see, if I click on this top 10 items, it will take me to this. And with that, I'll be able to select the top 10 performing student that has the highest score. So I don't want this to be red. I want it to be showing blue, blue or light green. Let me show light green. Light green is okay for our best performing student. Now you see, we have all the best scores to be highlighted in green. Conditional formatting enables us to also highlight all the duplicate values in our table. Take for example, this particular data set contains a lot of duplicates. So if I want to select all the duplicates in this data set, I can use the concept of conditional formatting to get that done. So the moment I select the entire table, you see the way I selected it now, I can just click on Ctrl A on my keyboard. With that, the entire table will be selected, and then I navigate to conditional formatting. By clicking on the conditional formatting, you see that we can get the duplicate values to be selected by navigating to this highlight cell rows. You see the duplicate values. The moment I click this, you see that the duplicate values will be highlighted immediately. Let me change the color. I don't want to fill the background. I want to fill the color itself. So I will click on the red text. The moment I click on this red text, all the duplicate values will be changed to red text. So as you can see, we have a lot of duplicates in our data set. So now you see we have duplicate. As you can see, this is not a duplicate. That's why it's not highlighted. One of the common use case of conditional formatting is to highlight overdue tasks, identifying top or bottom performance, flagging duplicate. Those are use cases of conditional formatting. Why should we remove duplicate or highlight duplicate in our data set? It prevents data redundancy. It also ensures accuracy of our analysis, which is very, very important and what we are trying to ensure. So I believe you have known how to highlight duplicate in your data set. So let's move on. We can also use data bars, color scales, and icon set to visually represent our data set. This can be found also in the conditional formatting under the data bars. Take for example, we want to use data bar on this population. So the moment we are on this population, we can highlight the entire column by using Ctrl Shift down arrow and then navigate to the conditional formatting. So as you can see, we have the data bar as part of the options here. So we can either use the gradient fill or we use the solid fill. So I prefer using the gradient fill because that will be showing me how lighter the particular population is or how heavier it is. So I would like to use the glow data bar. As you can see, you see that this is showing that we have fewer people as compared to some other countries. As you can see, we have many people in this particular country. So the use of conditional formatting will help us a lot to be able to show that. Also, you can use the color scales to show the value difference by representing each value with color. Now let's use this GDP per capita as example for our color scales. So if I would like to represent all these values by showing the color equivalent of it so as to see whether the value is higher or lower, I can just highlight the entire cell, the entire column I mean, and then navigate to the conditional formatting while clicking on these color scales. As you can see, the first bar in this color scale is the highest value, while the last one is the lowest value. So any value that is part of this lowest one will be represented with this color while still displaying the value. Now I would like to use this so as to see that the one with the highest value is green while the lowest value is showing with white color. So let's use this. As you can see, the moment I click on that, you will see that the color for all this has now been changed to reflect light green and white for all the lowest values. Take for example, if I change this to, let's say, a big number, let me type 3333 and then press enter, you see that that changed automatically to green, showing that this value is very big. With this, I can detect any inconsistency or outlier in my data set. Also, we can use the icon set in conditional formatting to show the trend of a particular column in the data set. So let me show you this in our table. Take for example, I would like to show the icon set for this particular table to show the way the trend is going, either it is increasing or decreasing. So let me quickly delete the previous conditional formatting that was there before by just clicking here and then clicking on clear go for this selected cell. Okay, since I have the column that I want to use conditional formatting selected, then I can easily click on this conditional formatting and then go to this icon set. With this icon set, I can see how my trend is going up, or while it is stable, or while it is going down. So immediately I click on this icon, you'll see the way the GDP per capita is going throughout the entire data set. So the one I inputted the last time, where I inputted a big number, this is showing the biggest number there. This is showing the upward trend there. So while the rest, almost all these ones are showing down arrow. Microsoft Excel also enables us to create a simple conditional rules defined by ourselves. Aside from using the existing one, you can highlight cells that exceed a particular threshold, while you can also apply different colors to different conditions in Microsoft Excel under the conditional rules that you created yourself. So steps on how to create conditional rules. This time around, let's use conditional formatting on our country column. So let's select the cells that has SW as part of its name. The moment I select the entire column, I navigate to the conditional formatting, then I click on this new rule. So as part of this conditional formatting, you'll see that we have a set of rules that we can choose from. But what I'm trying to get done is among here. I don't need to create a new rule by myself. So I can just click on this format only cells that contain. So this is what I'm trying to look for, that contain, and you will see that the specific text is available as part of the cell value here. If I click on this, I say specific text, then containing what I want to select only text that contains SW as part of its name. Then I can just set the format that I want to apply to that particular cell. Let me go click on this format. So I want to fill it with, let's say I fill it with this light blue. Now they say okay. So the moment I click on OK and then click on OK here, you see that all the columns that contains SW as part of its name will be filled with light blue background, as you can see. SW. We have two occurrences of that, which is this is Switzerland and Sweden. As you can see, they are all selected. Okay, let's create a new conditional formatting for our year. So take for example, we would like to highlight all cells that is above 2000. So we can easily select that by still using the method that we use now, by highlighting everything and then going to conditional formatting. So we click on new rule With this, we can create a rule for ourselves. The formula we are trying to set in our own case here is to select all the years that is above 2000. So navigate to this particular cell, which is the first one here. So I don't want it to be absolute, because the moment it is absolute, it won't be able to fill the entire condition to the other columns. Then I use greater than or equals to 2000. The moment I set this, I can navigate to the format and then give it the format that I want. So let me give it this blue, and also I would like to bold the text. So I will bold it and then click on OK. The moment I do this and then click on OK, you see that all the text that is above 2000, they are highlighted and they are bolded, as you can see. The key takeaway for this class is that you are able to use Excel table to make data organized and efficient. And you also notice that the table is dynamic enough to capture new data set. And also, you are able to use sorting and filtering to help streamline data analysis. You also learn how to use conditional formatting to enhance the data visibility, and also to select and mark all the outliers in your data set. Next module, you'll be introduced to pivot table and advanced data summarization. See you there.